What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be an overview of the timeline of me starting a new free-to-play account and getting Valiant within 4.5 days. So the title of this video is Free-to-Play Valiant in 4 days, that's the thumbnail. The exact time for the account is around 4 days and 16 hours. So 8 hours less than 5 days. So I still like to think of it as 4 days, 4.5 days, if you want to be specific. But yeah, 4.5 days for Valiant, completely brand new free to play account. I started it on Tuesday at, as you can see, that's 9:19 p.m. on Tuesday, and the account finished at 1:20 on Sunday. So within the game time, that's around 4 days and 16 hours. Obviously, I did not play every single hour. I believe over the 4.5 days, I played for around 32 hours. So you can do the math on how many hours of MCOC I have played over the course of that time period. But I played for at least over 30 hours. I know that for sure. And this account was completely free to play. Now, I did not document everything on this account because I had started this account originally with the intent of playing it pretty casually. But things started to escalate quickly once I started getting incredible pulls from my very important crystals, like 5 stars and 6 stars. And so I quickly turned it into a sort of Valiant speed run. And this is how it started, with this screenshot right here at 9:19 of the account right after the tutorial. So going through Act 1 and Act 2, I was getting my first 4-star champion, which was Craven. Again, this was still on that Tuesday. Not a huge account shifting pull right here, but things did start to get a little wild once I got this Superior Iron Man. So this was the 4-star Nexus crystal that you get from 100% Act 2, and this was still on Tuesday. I ended up picking Superior Iron Man out of here. This was right after I had gotten a 4-star Rocket Raccoon from a premium crystal, which I do not have screenshotted, but you will see right here that by the end of Tuesday, I already had a rank 3 4-star Rocket Raccoon. I had 2 maxed out 3 stars, Kingpin and Silver Surfer, and then a rank 2 4-star Superior Iron Man to end off Tuesday. I believe this screenshot was taken at around 11 p.m. Yeah, so around 2 hours of play on Tuesday. I got all the way through Act 1 and Act 2, and then I also got through portions of Act 3. So then going into Wednesday, I had pulled a 4-star Future Ant-Man from Act 3 completion, I believe. It was either Act 3 completion or Act 4 completion. And then I got a 5-star Red Goblin. This was not my first 5-star. I believe this was my second 5-star, as my first 5-star was Jabari Panther, but I just escalated so far past 5 stars once I got into Act 5. I only had like one 5-star really left on the roster at that point. Or like one 5-star was really maining the roster, and you'll see her shortly here. But this was on Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday afternoon. Yeah, 12:58 Wednesday afternoon is when I got this Red Goblin. So then right here, it is still Wednesday. I was making my way through Act 4 with the rank 5 Ascended Future Ant-Man that I had gotten. I was able to get a 4-star generic Awakening Gem from the Dark Phoenix like solo event that was going on this month. So that was the first milestone. I was able to get Future Ant-Man awakened, and I also got some Ascension for completing Act 3. I believe you got enough Ascension dust to take up a 4-star to the Ascension level. So I used that on Future Ant-Man, and he basically carried the team all the way through Act 4. So, skipping a little ahead here, we get all the way through Act 4, and we get to the end of Act 5 and also Act 6. So we take a bit of a time jump here. I'm sorry, this is Act 5. This is the beginning of Act 5. We end up getting Silk as a 5-star throughout the Act 5 journey, and I have the materials to take her to rank 4, and so I do. Silk is a major player on this account. Again, this is still Wednesday. It is Wednesday, 4:15 in the afternoon. So by the time I had pulled this 5-star Red Goblin, it was 1 o'clock. Making my way through Act 4, it was 2:30, and then breaching into Act 5, it was almost 5 o'clock on that Wednesday. So 5 hours of play minimum on Wednesday, but I know I did a little more on this Wednesday. We were able to get Silk as a 5-star, and then this is around the time where I thought, you know what, I should definitely be streaming this content because this account is almost too good to be true. So that's when I started streaming content. Um, once I got through the rest of Act 5, that's when, I started to actually stream the content and get it done. So, moving on, as you can see, things escalated because we're still on Wednesday here. It is Wednesday 6:08, so not even that long after I had rank 4 that 5-star Silk, I had pulled myself a 6-star Namor, and I took him up to rank 2, and I was still making my way through Act 5. The reworked Act 5 rewards are incredible, and for progressing counts and newer players, going through Act 5 is so much more worth it now than it was maybe a couple of years ago, even a couple of months ago, because Act 5 rewards have been updated a couple of times, but this most recent update is sensational. So, Act 5 is extremely rewarding and is a big factor as to why this account was able to progress at the level that it did. So, here's a screenshot on the end of day 2. This is like the official end of day 2. The time for this was 6:21. We had a couple of 6-stars. The Namor was really the important one. And then, of course, we had the future Ant-Man still and the rank 4. I'm sorry, at this point, Silk was already rank 5. So I believe I had either completed Act 5 or I completed Act 5 Chapter 3. And I was able to get Silk up to rank 5 as a 5-star, not ascended, to end off that Wednesday. But Wednesday didn't end there because I ended up getting 2 6-star champions that would change the entire dynamic of this run. With the first one being Tigra, obviously an incredible character. I love Tigra. I've played her for so long, and she is so useful, even unawakened. If you look at some of the live stream VODs that I have up on the channel, you'll see that even an unawakened Tigra is just doing so much work. And then the pull that defined the entire run and made this all possible, Guillotine 2099. Now, longtime fans of the channel know that way back in the day in New York Comic Con 2019, I won a copy of 6-star Guillotine 2099 from the World Tournament thing. From the championship, she was a prize. And I started using her the second I got her. I have loved her all the way since, 6 years ago, 5 years ago. And getting to relive act content with a 6-star Guillotine, seeing how powerful she is, it has solidified my opinion that Guillotine 2099 is among the best designed characters in the history of the game. Because for a champion of this caliber to exist in the level that like in the space that she does, right? She is like 5 or 6 years old at this point. She has not lost any value. Like, the only place where you really don't use Guillotine is short form content. And even shorter form content can be done with her. But story content, Alliance War, Everest content, anything basically, Guillotine 2099 is so useful. She has so much damage, so much utility, so much sustainability. Her range is out of this world. And she's a robot with regen and bleed and poison immunity. So, this champion right here is a defining factor and a defining reason as to why this account was able to progress so much. And if you watch the live stream VODs that I have on the channel, you will see exactly why. So, this is how we ended Wednesday with the Guillotine, with the Tigra, and then I ended up getting a 6-star Nexus from Act 5 completion, and so I picked up Ultron from this Nexus. Now, I kept pushing through into Act 6. I was like really going hard on this Wednesday. I thought I ended it earlier, but I actually kept going until, what is this, 11:47? Yeah, so at this point, I've played Wednesday for like 10 hours already. I was going absolutely bonkers on this Wednesday. And I was like, you know what? I need to stream this content. Like, this content needs to be streamed. I'm getting too lucky to not stream this content. And so I finally did. I finally started streaming through 6.2. Through the rest of 6.1 and 6.2, I streamed the content. And here's a screenshot of Thursday after I had just completed 6.2. This is Thursday, I believe, sometime in the morning. Yeah, the mid-morning, 10:45 a.m. on Thursday. The account had gotten through 6.2, and we were making our way through all of Act 6. So, after I had completed 6.3, I was able to rank 3 Guillotine and Tigra. So now Tigra and Guillotine are both rank 3 6-stars. They were going to be my Paragon rank ups, and then ended up being my Paragon rank ups. And then Silk being rank 5 Ascended, just doing great. This was Thursday at, I believe, sometime in the late night. This is Thursday at 9:24 p.m. I believe this was after Grandmaster, although I'm not 100% sure about that. I definitely know this was after Grandmaster because this is a huge leap for the account. Because I know I pulled Adam Warlock after I fought the Grandmaster, or at least sometime around that is when I pulled Adam Warlock. And then I started making my way through Act 7. So, this is Friday at 12:39 p.m. I have the rank 3 Adam Warlock, the rank 3 Tigra, and the rank 3 Guillotine, obviously accompanied by Silk. By this point, I had beaten Act 6, Chapter 4. I was Thronebreaker by Friday, and we were just moving on and moving on. Again, by this point in the account's existence, I had started streaming most of the content, so you can go and watch most of the things that I did on the VOD. I did do some stuff off stream just for the sake of, timing and making sure I can get things done, but most of the stuff was on stream. So, then off stream, I had opened a 6-star because I think I completed a path in 7.1 or 7.2, probably 7.1 because I streamed the Gwen Master. But 7.1, I had completed a path and I had pulled 6-star Heimdall, which was a great pull. I thought Heimdall would be more useful than he actually ended up being, but regardless, Heimdall was still a fantastic pull and was really useful for the account. So, at this point, the XP timer is at 4 days and 1 hour. Let's call it 4 days and 2 hours, right? So that's 3 days ish into the run. Not even. It's 2 days and then like 22 hours. So it's not even a full 3 days yet by the time this is going, because you can see that XP boost up there. That 75% XP boost lasts for 3 days, and I activated that during the beginning of the account. So the fact that there's still time on that means that it has been less than 3 days since this account has started by that Friday, and I believe this is Friday in the evening, 7:44 p.m. So then we move on to the Friday night, where I take my rank 3 Guillotine and my Adam Warlock, and I go up the right side Epoch path off stream. Now, yes, in hindsight, I definitely should have streamed this, but don't worry, we got Epoch done anyway, still on that Friday. I went hard on Friday as well. I believe I played around 10 hours on Friday too. I know life did. I totally understand that, and believe me, I would not have done this if I didn't have the time and ability to do it. I had a very small window at the end of this week, and by this week I mean the week of March 17th. I had a very small window throughout that week and going into the weekend of free time, and so I decided, you know what, I want to try to do a free to play account. And yeah, this is what ended up happening. So I completed Epoch at 10:56. I had started at 8:11 on Friday. I had completed it at 10:56 p.m. And that allowed me to rank 4 my Guillotine. Now, in the process of completing Epoch and completing Act 7, Chapter 2, I had pulled Kushala as a 6-star. As you can see, she's already ranked up there. You can see most of this, again, on the VOD live streams. And some of the videos up on the channel as well are summary videos, I believe, for day 2 and day 3. But completing Eternity of Pain let me rank 4 my Guillotine, and that let me explore Eternity of Pain in order to get more chances at Aegon or Kate Bishop. I'm sorry, not Aegon. More chances at Kate Bishop because I had already pulled a 6-star Aegon earlier, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with Aegon. So I ended up making Guillotine my first rank 4 6-star, and she was absolutely pivotal for the rest of this challenge at that rank 4 6-star level. She did so much for me. So many big bosses were taken down by her. Guillotine, again, I said this on my stream. There's 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and Guillotine 2099, and I stand by it. I think Guillotine is incredible. So this was on Friday night, I believe at around 1 a.m., no, 10:58 a.m., and then I think I kept going, another hour to get my first ever 7-star. So by this point, I was in Act 8, Chapter 1, and I'd completed the Guillotine Karina challenge with only using Guillotine characters to complete the Citalis boss. I completed that, and I got my first 7-star, which was Sunspot, who ended up being a very useful character for the rest of the run, but not as useful as a pull you'll see very soon after Ironheart. So this was yesterday. The recording of this video is on the day that I had completed the challenge, so it's saying yesterday. That is Saturday. I'm recording this on Sunday. I pulled Ironheart from Act 8, I believe Act 8 completion is when I pulled Ironheart. So I did all of Act 8 basically on the live stream yesterday, except for Chapter 1. I did Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and then Chapter 4 on the live stream, and then I pulled this Ironheart. And by that point, I knew what I needed to do. I needed to do a path of Epoch. The only way I could do a path of Epoch, though, is if my Act 8 full completion rewards gave me a 7-star science champion that could work on the path. And wouldn't you know it, I got 7-star Spider Ham and I took him straight to rank 3. Now, I did this whole Epoch path again on the live stream, so you can go and watch that VOD. I used 6-star rank 1 Sentry. I know, literally 6-star rank 1 Sentry, the 7-star rank 1 Ironheart, and the 7-star rank 1 Spider Ham for the Epoch path. I went the Death by Debuffs lane on the far left side, and we were able to use the generic rank up gem to take Spider Ham all the way to rank 3, level 1, because I don't need to level up champions for Valiant, I just need to rank them up. By this point, I was already Paragon. It was, what was it, 9:50 p.m. On Saturday, so I knew it was just destiny. I just needed some ISO and some T5CC from 9.1 to rank Ironheart, and then we would get it done and dusted. And wouldn't you know it, on the live stream today, by the recording of this video, it's today, but when you see it, it might be a couple of days from now. On the live stream, we were able to get those materials. A very lucky 5-star dupe from a Battlegrounds match gave me the ISO to buy the rest of the levels for Ironheart using units, and then I bought the rest of the materials that I needed to rank 3 Ironheart from the rank up store, and with 56 units remaining at exactly 1:22 p.m. on Sunday, with 2 days and 8 hours left, so that means 4 days and 16 hours have been subtracted from the XP boost that runs from the beginning of all new accounts, I reached the status of Valiant. So, that is a picture-by-picture summary of the Valiant journey, going through all the content that I did, EOP, completion and exploration, all of Act 7, all of Act 8, doing one path of the Epoch of Pain, completing Act 9, going into the Shooting Stars to farm ISO, which is a huge thing that I did, going to the monthly event quest to farm ISO is another thing that I did. Crazy, crazy scenes, but by the end of the day, we reached Valiant. So, what did I learn from this? Well, a couple of things. Number one, I want to reiterate this because I mentioned it earlier in the video. The buffed Act 5 rewards are sensational. And if you're a progressing player who has found this video, I don't want to set a false expectation of you progressing, this far in the ladder of progression this quickly, because I'm an experienced player and I have a lot of time in this game and I know what I'm doing for the most part. So I was able to accelerate my progression way faster than a newer player would. But the Act 5 buffs rewards are going to help that new player acceleration even further, because new players who jump into Act 5 are going to notice a substantial increase in their roster's power because the rewards have been facelifted to reflect the modern rank and rarity situation of MCOC for new players. So if you are a new player who has found this video, please, please, please absolutely complete Act 5, and I'd even consider new players exploring Act 5 because it is absolutely worth your time. It is worth your resources. You get a bunch of 6 stars, so many 7-star shards starting you off. You basically have half of a 7-star by the time you explore Act 5. Lots of 5-star rank up resources, Sig Stones, relics. It is absolutely worth it for progressing players to complete and explore Act 5, so please do yourselves a favor and do that. Number 2. Guillotine 2099, like I said earlier, is the pinnacle of MCOC character creation. She is so useful in so much content, it's not even funny. Bahamut solo, Orochi solo, Eternity of Pain, she carried the entire lane. Act 7, Act 8, Act 6, everything that I threw Guillotine at, she stuck with and she succeeded. Now, I do have a lot of experience using Guillotine 2099, but even for a player that maybe doesn't have a ton of experience, she is easy to pick up, easy to use for the most part, and will show you unbelievable returns if you invest resources into her because she is sensational. So, there's a little PSA to Guillotine 2099. Please, 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 if you have her as a progressing player or even like a mid-tier to like higher level player who still needs to make some progress in story content and maybe Everest content as well, rank up Guillotine 2099. She is unbelievable. The same goes for Tigra and Kushala. I reflect that sentiment wholly onto them as well, but Guillotine did more for this account than any other character, and I need to absolutely shout her out for that. Number 3, this game is still so fun. I haven't had more fun doing this in the. This is the most fun I've ever had playing this game in years, literal years. All the content that's come out in the past couple of years has been so fun, super engaging. I'm an endgame player. I love endgame content. But doing something like this, a Valiant speed run or just a Valiant run on a free-to-play account, going super hard, pushing the limits of what an account can be in such a short amount of time, to me, an immense joy. So I absolutely loved every second of this challenge. There were some lows, but mostly highs, like 90% highs, 10% lows, but that's the sake of every MCOC account. You're not going to get the best pulls every time, but the pulls that you do get that matter, oh boy, this account, they mattered. So I love doing this, and if you're a player who maybe has an endgame account and wants to do something really fun, maybe don't do a Valiant speed run, but start a new account, do it free to play, and just progress. I guarantee you will have a great time. Number 4, I got incredibly lucky. I want to look right in the camera and tell you, dead face, I got unbelievably lucky. There is no way I could have progressed as fast as I did if I did not get lucky with some of the pulls that I had. Guillotine 2099, Tigra, Kushala specifically, those 3 champions basically carried me through all of Act 8 and even beyond that into like EOP for the completion and exploration for the 3 to 4 gem for Guillotine to take her to rank 4, and then into Act 9 as well. Once I had the 7-star Spider Ham, and the Ironheart, it just things went from unbelievable to just unimaginable. So I want to make that crystal clear. This is probably the luckiest account that has ever existed in MCOC, and the pulls that I got were just unbelievable. Like, I could not have orchestrated a better roster development if I tried. I got basically everything that I as a player needed to progress. Maybe not other players would have done the things that I have done with like Guillotine and Tigra, but for me as an individual, I know how to use Tigra and Guillotine very well, so getting them as 6 stars was just the biggest check in the box for me to just put the foot to the gas, pedal to the metal, and just go. And that's exactly what I did. And here we are, Valiant in 4.5 days. So I got incredibly lucky. I think this could happen at a similar pace with different champions, but again, you need champions that will work in content like Act 8, Act 9, Epoch, EOP, 9.1. You need champions that will work in those environments. If you don't get characters that will work in those environments, then you're going to be stalled, and you're going to have to delay, and you're going to have to wait and find other routes of progression. I want to also mention, I did not do Necropolis on this account. I did, Act 8, Epoch, EOP, and 9.1. I did not do Necropolis. I could have done Necropolis, but it probably would have been to my detriment, because I would have needed to rank up a 5-star to rank 5, and that would take a lot of ISO and a lot of gold, and I think it was better that I went the alternative route, so I could save my ISO for the 7 stars because I was able to get them leveled up way quicker. So, yeah. Speaking of ISO, I do think that ISO is still sort of a bottleneck issue, but it has been alleviated to an extent. I don't want to say to a super significant extent, but definitely to an extent. It felt a lot better to progress through content with shooting stars giving me so much ISO, with act content giving you ISO on completion and exploration. It's definitely still one of the hardest aspects of a new account challenge, but ISO has become a lot less of a problem, especially with, like I said, shooting stars. The Trader's Outpost giving you ISO is fantastic on a weekly basis. Love that. Do not sleep on the Trader's Outpost. It's amazing for the ISO. And yeah, lots of other content gives you decent ISO drops. So while it's still a challenging aspect of free-to-play accounts and new account challenges, it is a lot more manageable than it used to be. And finally, I just want to say thank you all for joining me on this journey. I didn't start this thing with the idea of doing a Valiant speedrun, but once some of those 6-star pulls started to become pretty impactful, I knew that if I didn't capitalize on this, I may not get the chance to do a free-to-play account speedrun like this ever again, because the stars were aligning, figuratively and literally speaking, and I just knew that if I did this and I pushed hard and I just went basically no life the game for 4 days, which, was that good use of my time? That remains to be seen. Um, if I went hard, I committed to this, and I just gave it my all, that there was a chance I could hit Valiant within the world record time. So here we are. Valiant is acquired on this account 4 days and 16 hours from the account's creation. It might be a little longer or a little shorter, maybe like 18 hours or maybe it's 14 hours. I don't know. The timer that I took a screenshot of from the XP boost was having 2 days and 8 hours left, so that's 4 days and 16 hours roughly. So that is the video summary and the audio summary, my little feedback and my experience with this challenge. I'm very tired, so you might not see another video for a couple of days because I need to recover. I need to do some other work, prioritize some other work, and then I will be back making more content on the main account, the first free-to-play account, and then who knows, maybe the second free-to-play account will get some love at some point. But for now, MSD Junior is going to be retired, not permanently, just temporarily. If new content comes out that requires his attention, maybe I'll dust him off. I'll dust off the account login info and I'll jump back in there. But for the most part, that's all I have to say for this video. Thank you so much for joining me on the journey of MSD Junior reaching Valiant. And much love to Pepe, who had the original record of 9 days and 6 hours. Much love to you, buddy. Insane run. I remember watching it. It was fantastic. And also, Nick, for kind of starting this whole free-to-play Valiant speedrun journey, who did it in 14 days, I believe, with one of his newer accounts. So shout out to both of you. And I believe, I think Cantoa, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but that individual also had a 10 or a 9-day Valiant speedrun. So all three of you, fantastic work, and I'm glad that we have kept this Valiant speedrun thing and like top tier progression title speedrun thing going because it is an absolute blast. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope somebody beats this time. I really want to see somebody do it. I don't know if it's going to be possible, but if anyone can do it out there, I really want to see it. So I'm sort of soft initiating a challenge. Not like go and spend 4 days no lifing the game, but if you have some time and you want to give it a shot, I'd love to see people beat the record. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing and also hitting that like button. Both of those things are incredibly helpful for the channel, and it helps get the word out there to the YouTube algorithm that I'm making content people are enjoying. So thank you again very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.